this costly giving that was done. But that brings us to the second word. That's the mohar, but the second word was the Mattan. During the time of their betrothal, the bridegroom, it could be done a few different ways, but the bridegroom would often send a gift to the bride. The gift is called the Mattan. Sometimes it could be given at the same time as the mohar, but often after. The Mattan simply means in Hebrew, the gift. It's different from the mohar. The mohar is the price, or it's the redemption. But the Mattan is the gift of love on top of that price. It could be a gift of gold or jewels. What was the purpose of the Mattan? It was a sign of the bridegroom's love for the bride, to reassure her of his love. He's serious. To encourage her in the days of their separation. A token of his presence when she can't see him. A reminder of his pledge to her. A portion of his substance, his essence, adorning her. And even that, it could be worn on the wedding day, a concrete element of his love for her. In some ways, an engagement ring is the modern equivalent. In some ways, not quite, but in some ways, because it is a reassurance. You know, I have 2 boys who are into rocks. They love rocks. Doesn't matter, they love rocks. When I was a boy, I loved rocks. Boys tend to be into rocks. When they become a man, they're not so much into rocks. You know where I'm going. Girls are not so much into rocks, but when they become women, they get into rocks. Not the free kind, the very expensive kind that boys pay for when they're not into rocks. And the more expensive, the more, hey, because this is showing you are serious here. Doesn't matter how long you've been married, you show me you're serious. The Mattan is the sign of the bridegroom's love, like that. His faithfulness, sign of things to come, of love to come, of that he's faithful, he's going to provide for her. A mystery here. God spoke of his relationship to Israel as that of a bride and a groom. And this mystery of this Hebrew marriage. And look at it. The nation originally is in Egypt. It's in a house of bondage. But according to the mystery, the Hebrew groom has to go to the bride's house where she is, visit her. It says in the scriptures, it says, I am come down. He comes to visit his people. And there he must pay a price to set her free. What happens on Passover? God causes a price to be paid to set her free, which is the mohar. The mohar is the lamb. The lamb is the price which will represent something even greater that God will pay. The mohar, the lamb, is the redemption price that sets the bride free, in this case from Egypt. Freedom. The mohar brings freedom. Israel's no longer of Egypt. She is new. She's in Egypt, but she's not of Egypt. She can get out. She comes out of her house, and she's heading to another place. But before they reach the other place, he gives her something extra. Takes her out of Egypt, brings Israel to Sinai, gives to her the Torah, the covenant, his word. The covenant, the mohar saves. But the Mattan doesn't save, it's given. So here they are saved by Passover, the lamb, and then they go to Sinai and they receive the law. The law is given. You know, the Hebrew holy days actually follow in an amazing way. It's another mystery we can't get into today, but they follow the pattern of the Hebrew marriage. And interesting also, look, he takes them out of Egypt. You got Passover. He brings them to Sinai. You have a gift. And then he brings them, what does the bridegroom do? He brings the bride to his house. He brings Israel from the old house to his house, the promised land. And there they will celebrate the 3 pilgrim feasts, our Passover, Shavuot or Pentecost, and then Tabernacles. Passover is about getting out. Shavuot is this gift, the Torah. And then Tabernacles is about celebrating in his land, in the bridegroom's house, the bride and groom together, celebrating the journey that he took her to the promised land. So, but the second event, Shavuot, is about the Torah back in that time. Which is interesting. The Torah is considered this. You know, the Shavuot in the Hebrew reckoning among Jewish people is considered the day of the Mattan, because it's the day of the gift or the giving of the Torah. So it's the only Hebrew day. Now listen, you know, it's the only Hebrew day that a great Hebrew day that has the word gift in it or matan in it. So we're going to take this now to one more level. The bride and groom, take it to Messiah, to the redemption of all. Messiah, God and us, dwell in two separate houses. But for us to be saved, the bridegroom must make a visitation, a journey from his house to her house. So 2,000 years ago, God, the bridegroom, makes a visitation, makes a journey from his house to our house, from heaven to earth. He comes across not the village, not the land. He comes across eternity, across time and space to get to us, to get to this world of imperfection, of want, of dust, for one reason, because it's your house. No matter, in the same way, not just to the world, no matter where you are, no matter what your life is like, he is the God who makes a journey to you. We talk about coming to God, and we do, but it's bigger than that. It ultimately is different from every faith in the world. The only faith that says God comes to you. He makes the journey to you. The bridegroom must come to the bride. He doesn't ask the bride to come to the bridegroom. The bridegroom must come to the bride. God comes to you. You can't reach God, but he can reach you. So he comes 2,000 years ago to this world, and he comes again to each of you, each of us. He came to our house. He knocked on the door. He comes. And then what has to be is that the visit isn't complete until he pledges his love, and he offers up the mohar, which must be valuable, costly, and it must be a gift. So what he does is he offers up the gift, the mohar of all gifts, of all redemption prices, which is the cross. His own life is the mohar. He doesn't give silver or gold, he gives his life. The bridegroom gives his life on the cross. That's the greatest, pricely mohar ever. That means there's a redemption price. That means if you receive it, you are no longer in the old house, but you're not of the old house. It means you're in your circumstance, but you're not of your circumstances. That means you might be in your old history, but you're not of the old history anymore. Through that you are on earth, but you're not of earth. If you are the Kala, it means you are here now. You are to be free of the old. And your part here isn't about getting rich, isn't about getting more. It's about getting ready, getting more beautiful for the day of your bridegroom. That is the